The desert wind howls across the Oklahoma plains. The moon hangs low, silver light bleeding over the dust. A lone rider cuts through the night, tall, calm, silent. The glint of a badge flashes against his chest, and in his hand, the reins of a black horse steady like steel. The man's name is Bass Reeves, and tonight, justice rides with him. They'll say later he was a myth, a whisper in saloons, a legend told around campfires. But he was real, flesh, blood, and iron. Before the West was tamed, before the Lone Ranger ever appeared in books or film, there was a black lawman who hunted over 3,000 outlaws and brought them all to justice. This is his story, the untold life of Bass Reeves, the man who became America's first black deputy, U.S. Marshal west of the Mississippi, and whose courage shaped the legend of the Wild West itself. (1838), Crawford County, Arkansas. A boy is born into slavery, one of many, one among countless voices bound in silence. His master is William Reeves, a wealthy farmer and politician. The boy's name is Bass. From the start, the boy carries a quiet strength, steady eyes, a solemn patience. When other children laugh or play, Bass watches, he listens. He studies the men around him, how they move, how they speak, how they carry themselves when they lie or tell the truth. Even as a child, Bass Reeves learns to read faces before he learns to read words. When the Civil War erupts, Bass is taken to the battlefield as a servant to his master's son. But war changes everything. In the chaos, under the roar of cannons and the smoke of fire, Bass sees his chance. He runs, vanishing into the wilderness, leaving behind the world of chains forever. For years, Bass lives among the Native American tribes of the Indian Territory, the Cherokee, Creek, and Seminole. He learns their languages, their trails, their codes of survival. He becomes a tracker, a hunter, a man of silence and skill. The frontier hardens him, but it also gives him freedom. The land teaches him patience. He learns to ride better than any man, to shoot straighter than any soldier, to navigate country a white lawman dares to cross. And when the war ends, Bass Reeves walks out of the wilderness not as a slave, but as a survivor forged by the wild. He returns to Arkansas as a free man, takes a wife, Nellie Jenny, and begins life as a farmer. For a time, peace holds him, but peace can't hold a man born for justice. (1875) Indian Territory has become a haven for outlaws, thieves, killers, and fugitives. The U.S. Marshal Service needs men who know the land and who can stand unafraid before danger. The federal judge Isaac Parker, known as the hanging judge, is desperate for deputies. He hears rumors of a man named Reeves, a black man, fearless, fluent in the languages of the land, and unmatched with a revolver. Bass Reeves is summoned, no papers, No ceremony. Just a badge, a horse, a gun, and a command. Bring them back, dead or alive. And so begins one of the greatest law enforcement careers in American history. Bass Reeves rides across the frontier for over 3 decades. He covers 75,000 square miles of wilderness, a land crawling with bandits and blood. But Reeves rides alone, always calm, always certain. He never drinks, never swears, never takes a bribe. He prays before each mission and carries with him a small Bible in his saddlebag. It's said he could shoot with either hand, that he once shot an outlaw while holding the reins in his teeth. He was a master of disguise, dressing as a beggar, a preacher, or a cowboy to trick fugitives into capture. One time, he arrived at an outlaw camp pretending to be a weary traveler. He shared food, laughed by their fire, and when they slept, he drew his gun and took them all in. Over the years, his legend grows, the black lawman who cannot be killed, the man who never misses, the ghost who rides in the night. He brings in more than 3,000 men, kills 14 in self-defense, and never once is he wounded. Bass Reeves believes in one thing above all, the law. Even when it's cruel, even when it's unfair. He once arrests his own son for a murder. The law demanded it, and Reeves obeyed. He delivers his boy in chains to the same court he serves. When asked how he could do it, Reeves answers simply, "If I don't uphold the law, what kind of lawman am I?" The court falls silent, and history remembers a man who valued justice above blood. In the 19th century American South, that kind of man was unheard of and dangerous. But Reeves does not bend. He never once hesitates to arrest a white man. He never lets race dictate justice. In a time when black men are lynched for less, Bass Reeves carries authority backed by his badge and his unwavering courage. Decades later, when Hollywood begins to write its stories of the Old West, a new hero appears, the Lone Ranger. A mysterious man in a mask, riding a white horse, serving justice across the frontier. But the legend is older than film. Bass Reeves rode a white horse. He left silver calling cards at scenes of capture. He had a Native American partner. He never shot a man who didn't draw first. And he always stood for truth, honor, and justice, above race, above politics, above fear. Yet in every Hollywood retelling, his skin turns white. His name vanishes. His story becomes someone else's myth. They erase him from the pages of Western history, but his spirit never disappears. Because every outlaw tale, every gunslinger legend, every Lone Ranger story carries a shadow of the man who lived it first, Bass Reeves. By 1907, the frontier begins to fade. Civilization creeps westward. The railroads come, towns rise, and the wild disappears. Bass Reeves, now nearly 70, hangs up his badge. He served as a deputy US Marshal longer than any man of his time. He's buried friends, captured legends, and survived the death of eras. He takes a final post as a police officer in Muskogee, Oklahoma, still wearing his badge, still keeping order. Even in old age, criminals lower their eyes when Bass Reeves walks by. When he dies in 1910, there is no grand funeral, no newspaper tribute. America forgets him. But time is a strange thing. It buries the truth, only for the truth to rise again. More than a century later, historians begin to uncover his life. Old court records, yellowed bounty posters, whispered memories passed down in families. And piece by piece, the truth emerges. The real Lone Ranger was a black man, born enslaved, forged in struggle, and destined to bring justice to a lawless land. Bass Reeves wasn't just chasing outlaws, he was chasing history itself. And history, for a long time, tried to run from him. Today, statues rise in his honor, books tell his name, films and documentaries rediscover his legacy. At last, the shadowed hero of the Wild West steps into the light. The dust of his horse is long settled, the badge long tarnished, the revolver long silent. But when you look across the wide plains of America, when you hear stories of lawmen and legends, somewhere in that echo rides Bass Reeves. A man who began his life in chains and ended it as a symbol of freedom, faith, and justice. He's proof that heroism is not born of skin or circumstance, but of spirit. And though Hollywood gave us a Lone Ranger in fiction, history gave us one in truth. Bass Reeves, the real Lone Ranger. Hit the subscribe button for more amazing Black Legends history.